Mr. Spence, if you'd call your first witness.
Call Bill Newman, please.
You've been sworn.
Yes, sir.
If you would, please have a seat right over here, Mr. Newman.
Mr. Newman, this is the jury over here. Say hello to the folks.
Hello.
Tell them who you are.
My name is W.E. Newman.
Where do you live, Bill?
I live in Mesquite, Texas.
You remember the fateful day when our president was killed?
Yes, sir, I certainly do.
Were you there?
Yes, sir.
Where were you?
I was standing on the curb in front of the grassy knoll. My wife and myself were the last group of people along the curb.
Do you see the grassy knoll here where you were?
Yes, sir.
Could you just take this blue pen and mark where you were with your wife and children?
I believe we were in this area right here.
Thank you. Could we have the Zapruder film the enhanced version at the regular speed? Now, just tell the jury in your own words what happened.
Well, sir, we were standing along the curb on Elm Street, and as the president's car come towards us, probably 200 feet or so from us, we heard a boom, boom, like that. The president sort of throwed his arms up, and we thought at that time maybe someone had thrown firecrackers or something beside the president's car. As the president's car came closer to us, we could see that something was wrong, that Governor Conley, I could see the blood on his shirt, and Governor Conley's eyes protruding. And the president was looking into the crowd of people. He was moving his head about and looking into the crowd of the people. And just as the president's car got directly in front of me, and the president was probably 15 feet away, boom, and the side of his ear flew off, and just bits and pieces flew off. I can remember seeing just a white flash and then the red, and the president fell across the car as if you'd hit him with a bat. He fell across the car and back into Mrs. Kennedy's lap. I turned to, I remember her saying, "Oh my God, they've shot Jack."
Who was her?
Mrs. Kennedy. And then
you were that close you could hear it?
Yes, sir. I was as close as from where you're standing to myself, from the president when the third shot was fired. That time I turned to Gail and I said, "That's it, hit the ground." And we hit the ground because we thought we were in direct line of fire at that time.
Where did you think the shots were coming from?
Sir, I thought the shots were coming from directly behind.
And where would that be on this exhibit?
Would be somewhere back in this general area.
All right. Now, after you hit the ground, you covered your children?
Yes.
Do we have a photograph that reveals that? Exhibit 201, please. Do you recognize Exhibit 201?
Yes, sir. I recognize the picture.
And are you there?
Yes, sir.
Let's have the next exhibit, which I believe is 202. Is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
That's your baby?
Yes, sir.
How big is that boy now?
Well, he's in Texas Tech University. He's now I may be under oath, but I think he's 26 years old.
You may examine.
Let the record reflect you don't have to be 26 to go to Tech, so.
Okay.
Mr. Newman, you believe the shot to the president's head was the last shot, is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, I take it, Mr. Newman, that there was a lot of panic and confusion after the shooting, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
People were running around, it was
Yes,
almost mass hysteria, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And even at the time of the shooting, you were in fear for your own life and your family's life, is that correct?
after the third shot was fired, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Had you ever before been in the presence of the President of the United States?
No, sir.
Okay. Was this an exciting moment for you?
Yes, sir, it was.
Do you think, Mr. Newman, that in view of the fact that the President of the United States, perhaps the most powerful man in the free world, was driving right by you, and in view of the fact that he was horribly murdered right in front of your eyes, and with all the panic and the confusion and the fact that you yourself, at least during one of the shots, was in fear for your own life and your family's life, is it possible that you could accurately perceive under all of those circumstances what you thought you saw and heard?
Well, sir, I saw what I saw, and I don't know how to answer your question. I'm sure there's room for doubt in anybody's mind.
All right. Mr. Newman, you have learned since the assassination that other things that you thought you saw and heard turned out to be not true, even though you thought you saw them with your very own eyes. Isn't that correct?
Give me an example, sir.
All right, I'll give you an example. This is Decker Exhibit number 5323. You've heard of Sheriff Decker from Dallas County?
Yes, sir.
Now, you gave him a statement. They typed it up, and you signed your name. You recognize your signature there, do you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You gave him a statement on November the 22nd, 1963. I'll read a portion of it. We were standing at the edge of the curb looking at the car as it was coming towards us, and all of a sudden there was a noise, apparently gunshot. The President jumped up in his seat, and it looked like what I thought was a firecracker had went off, and I thought he had realized that it was just like an explosion, and he was standing up. Did you sign your name to that document?
I signed my name to that document.
You're aware that President Kennedy never stood up in the presidential limousine, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. No further questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you want to tell the folks?
Just a minute, if you don't mind, he would appreciate it if you'd stand up and ask
Yes,
the question.
yes.
Thank you.
Would you mind telling the folks in the jury what the circumstances were of you having written that document about the President standing up?
The part about the President standing up, the President did come up in his seat. And, of course, at that time I was pretty upset and excited myself, and I may have said the President stood up when all he in reality did was throw his arms up. That's
all.
That's
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Newman.
you.
You may step down. Call your next witness.